SLT Fibre and experience the power of fibre technology. Sri Lanka's only super fast internet connection. SLT Fibre. Call 1212 now.
Tonight, wrath of the northeast monsoon. Weather wreaks havoc as landslides and inundations reported across the country. Honesty is the best policy. President Gotabaya Rajapakse promises to be frank with the Indian government to iron out any misunderstandings. Also has the 19th Amendment in his crosshairs. Was it a setup? Dr. Palitha Kohana recalls a similar incident to the alleged Swiss embassy kidnapping back in 2009.
In 2009, a similar incident occurred. On further investigation, it transpired that the individual had staged this disappearance.
All that and much more coming up on First at 9. This Sunday, the 1st of December 2019.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9.
මේ සීන් එකෙන් කට් වෙන්න ඇන්ටිජර් මවුත් වොෂ් සමගින් එන ක්ලෝස් අප් ජෙල් එක ස්ටෝරි එක ස්ටාර්ට් කරන්න.
Hi.
Hi.
Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Dhamke Kanayaka. Let's start with your local stories. An earth slip caused by the heavy rainfall claimed the lives of 4 people as the deluge exceeded the 100mm mark in many areas of the island, with Nuwara bearing the brunt of it. According to the Disaster Management Centre, 4,126 persons belonging to 1,156 families are affected by the inclement weather. The Department of Meteorology, meanwhile, expects the rainy conditions to continue over the next several days.
With the northeastern monsoon which comes into play from December to February, rainfall exceeded 100mm in several districts during the past 24 hours. Nuwara district was the most affected due to the inclement weather, with an earth slip also reported in Malapattava of Valapane. The incident claimed the lives of 4 persons of the same family. A 58-year-old, his 48-year-old wife and their 2 grandchildren aged 17 and 15 have perished in the incident, with their bodies recovered this morning. It is reported that the 15-year-old was all set to sit for the ordinary level examination tomorrow. Meanwhile, an earth slip near the 7th mile post along the Badulla-Passara main road was also reported today. Due to heavy rains in the Bandaravela area, a mound of earth collapsed on a house located near the main Kobil of the town. 2 women who sustained injuries in the incident have been hospitalized. A tree and a mound of earth were also seen collapsed onto a lorry along the Bandaravela-Haputale road. Vehicular movement on the Badulla-Passara road was seen temporarily halted due to heavy rains that battered the area. According to our correspondent on the ground, rocks and mounds of earth were seen on the road along the route. Meanwhile, due to the heavy downpour in the Namulla area, trees had fallen across the road, disrupting vehicular movement. Several landslides were also reported along the Mahiyangania Kandy road. With the adverse weather condition, landslide warnings have been issued for the Ratnapura, Kegol and Badulla districts by the National Building Research Organisation. Accordingly, the warnings will be effective for the areas covering Balangoda and Imbulpe divisional secretariats in the Ratnapura district and the Dehiyovita, Varakapala, Ruwanwella, Daraniyagala and Yatiyanthora divisions in the Kegol district, as well as the divisional secretariats of Haldumulla, Passara, Lunugala, Ella, Haliyala, Badulla and Bandaravela in the Badulla district. Power outages are also a concern in several areas, including Diyatalava, Haputale, Bandaravela, Valimada, Ruwanwella, Balangoda and Kurunagala. The Ministry of Power and Energy stated that around 5,000 electricity consumers have been affected due to the power outage. Meanwhile, a spill gate of the Upper Kotmale Reservoir was opened this morning as part of its automatic response. The Vimala Surendra Reservoir in the Norton Bridge is also overflowing since last night. According to our correspondent, the Kasarvi Reservoir is close to spill level. Irrigation engineers point out that people who reside along the banks of Kalawaya should be vigilant as 10 spill gates of the Rajangania reservoir are open. Two spill gates of the Angamur reservoir meanwhile were opened this morning. Around 25 houses located in the low-lying areas from the Keselgamu Oya are also underwater. Two spill gates of the Ibbankatua reservoir in Dambulla were also opened last night. In the meantime, the new bus stand, business premises and houses in the town of Anuradhapura were inundated due to Kumbichankulama tank overflowing last night. As a result, the Anuradhapura-Colombo main road too is underwater. With water levels of the Malvatuoya going up, a water bowser had toppled after being caught in the currents.
Gel scene action. Anti-germ mouthwash samaging in a close-up gel like a story ka start karanna.
Now, President Gotabaya Rajapakse labels the 19th Amendment a failure, adding that it will be scrapped if the support of the two-thirds majority is received in Parliament. The Sri Lankan head of state also invites India and other countries in the region to invest more in Sri Lanka if they want to provide an alternative to Chinese investments. Venturing his thoughts during an interview, the president also had some assurances for India as he pledged to be frank and upfront with the neighbours to avoid the misunderstandings of the past between the two nations.
With the election of the new president, one of the key elements scrutinized is the new regime's foreign policy, especially how the island nation would handle relations with close neighbour India. That being the case, the president's maiden overseas visit also happened to be India upon the invitation of Indian PM Narendra Modi. While there, the president in an interview with a media outlet has promised to be frank and upfront to avoid the misunderstandings of the past between India and Sri Lanka. Moreover, President Rajapakse says that India and other countries in the region must invest more in Sri Lanka if they want to provide an alternative to Chinese investment. Also mooting closer coordination between India and Sri Lanka, the president told The Hindu, quote, "I think the main issue India could have with us would be on our relations with China or Pakistan, but if we don't do anything that creates suspicion among Indian authorities, there will not be any problem," unquote. On the issue of rights for Tamil majority areas, President Rajapakse says he intends to focus on development of the region, adding that their freedom and political rights are already safeguarded through provisions in the constitution. President Rajapakse also believed that the sentiments of the Sinhala majority should be taken into consideration and that anything promised beyond that is untrue. Asked if there will be a chance of power towards a more parliamentary system as under the 19th Amendment, President Rajapakse has responded saying that 19th Amendment is a failure and it will be dropped from the constitution if a two-thirds majority in parliament is received.
දරුවාගේ අස්ථි ප්‍රතිශක්තිකරණ පද්ධතිය සහ මානසික ක්‍රියා නිසි පරිදි පවත්වාගෙන යාමට දායක වන කැල්සියම්, විටමින් C සහ යකඩ අඩංගු මයිලෝ සමගින් පෝෂණයෙන් ඉදිරියට.
ෆ්‍රිජ් සඳහා 30% දක්වා වට්ටම්. දිවයින පුරා සොෆ්ට්ලොජික් සහ සොෆ්ට්ලොජික් මැක්ස් ප්‍රදර්ශනාගාරවලින්.
Concluding his two-day official visit in India, President Gotabaya Rajapakse returned to the island last night. President Rajapakse chose India for his maiden overseas visit upon assuming office as the head of state. During his visit, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced a $400 million line of credit for infrastructure projects in the island nation, along with a further credit line worth $50 million to counter terrorism. During the visit, Indian President Ramnath Kovind placed faith in his Sri Lankan counterpart on his policy declaration for the progress of the country. The Sri Lankan head of state also undertook several engagements, including a visit to the Sri Lankan High Commission in India. Arriving in the country at 9:45 last night, the president was seen inspecting the airport operations as well. Now, former diplomat Dr. Palitha Kohona believes the alleged abduction and questioning of a local Swiss embassy employee in Sri Lanka creates a considerable amount of confusion, amongst other things. Recalling a similar incident from back in 2009 during his tenure as Secretary to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Kohona said that the incident transpired to be a mere scheme designed to obtain refugee visa in Switzerland.
The Criminal Investigations Department launched a comprehensive investigation into the alleged abduction and questioning of a local Swiss embassy official in Sri Lanka. The matter has gained media scrutiny, with vowing to get to the bottom of the matter. With that being the case, former Secretary to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Palitha Kohuna spoke to AdaDerana on a similar incident which has taken place in the year 2009.
At the moment, there's a considerable degree of confusion regarding the alleged abduction of an employee of the Swiss embassy in Colombo. It is curious because if somebody had been abducted in broad daylight with TV cameras all over the place and other witnesses as to why there was no complaint made to the police, if the police had been informed immediately, I'm certain that they would have started their investigations. But instead of informing the police, the matter has been raised in the media and also bilaterally. I'm confused as to why this particular approach was taken by the relevant authorities. I recall that when I was the Foreign Secretary in 2009, a similar incident occurred, also involving the Swiss embassy. I received a complaint from the ambassador at the time that one of their employees had disappeared. Embassy was quite rightly concerned, and I immediately activated the intelligence services and the police, and very soon we discovered the vehicle in which the person apparently had been abducted, and the individual also located. On further investigation, it transpired that the individual had staged this disappearance so that later on the person could apply for refugee status and leave for Switzerland. The case was taken off the headlines and no more was heard from the Swiss embassy about this matter, but it is curious that the Swiss embassy was involved even then, and the motivation of the person who staged his own disappearance was simply to obtain a visa to travel to Switzerland and claim refugee status.
Now, also touching on the alleged abduction of the local Swiss embassy employee, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapakse says that the incident is yet to be confirmed true. Responding to media in Kandy today, the Premier said that the truth regarding the matter will be revealed very soon.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapakse took part in an almsgiving worked off in line with the 8th commemoration of late Minister Anuruddha Ratwatta at his residence this afternoon.
මේක සම්පූර්ණ මට පේන විදිහට මේ අපි තාම මට වචනයක් කියන්න බෑ. නමුත් මට දැනට තියෙන තොරතුරු අනුව නම් තාම ඔප්පු වෙලා නැහැ. නමුත් මේ වගේ චෝදනාවක් ඉදිරිපත් වෙලා තියෙනවා. ජපාන් තානාපති කාර්යාලයේ තියෙන CCTV කැමරාව පරීක්ෂා කරාට පස්සේ මම හිතන්නේ ස්ථීර වශයෙන්ම උත්තරයක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි. ජපාන් නිවාසයේ පිටිපස්සේ තියෙන ඒක විතරයි බලන්න තියෙන්නේ. අනිත් ඒවා බලලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒකත් එක්ක අපිට කියන්න හැකි මොකක් ඇත්ත කතාවක්ද බොරු කතාවක්ද කියලා. දෙපාර්තමේන්තුව මේ වෙලට රටේ කුණු සුද්ධ කරන්න හිතාගෙන ඉන්නවා. කොයි වෙලාවකවත් පොලිසියට කුණු සුද්ධ කරන්න කියලා නැහැ. පරිසර පොලිසියට සේවාවක් තියෙනවා. කුණු සුද්ධ වෙලාද කියලා බලන එක. සුද්ධ වෙලා නැත්නම් ඒ වැඩ කරන කම්කරුවෝ ලවා ඒ වැඩේ කරවන්න. එහෙම නැතුව පොලිසිය රාජකාරිය කොටහක් නෙවෙයි මේක. ඒක බොහොම පැහැදිලිව අපි පැහැදිලි කරලා තියෙනවා. උන්ගේ වගකීමක් පිරිසුදු කරන එක නෙවෙයි. පිරිසුදු කරනවාද කියලා බලන එක. ඉතින් සමහර වෙලාවට දැන් මුරේදනන් මහතුරු සංඝකාර ක්‍රීඩකයෝ එකතු වෙලා මහජනයා එකතු වෙලා ශ්‍රමදාන කරනවා. ඒ ශ්‍රමදානයයි මේකයි අතර වෙනසක් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මේ කතාව මටත් ආරංචි වුණා. නමුත් මේක සම්පූර්ණ බොරුවක්.
We will return after this very short break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, a coastal cleanup operation kicked off this morning as another phase of AdaDerana Nature Force's attempts to preserve the natural environment along the coastline of the Kapumgoda to Swetakeyava beach line. The Rotary Club of Pamunugama also lent their hand for the AdaDerana initiative. Accordingly, plastics, polythene and other waste were removed along the 6-kilometre coastline stretching from Kapumgoda to Swetakeyava. Youth committees of the temples and Catholic churches of the area as well as area residents also chipped in with their contribution towards this social initiative. Now, the GCE ordinary level examination will get underway tomorrow morning across 4,987 examination centres island-wide. 717,008 candidates will be sitting for the exam this year, recording the highest number of candidates to sit for the examination in its history. It will start at 8:30 a.m. and the Department of Examinations requests the candidates to arrive at the examination centres half an hour prior to the commencement. The candidates will receive additional 10 minutes to read and understand the question paper, and this additional time will only be applicable for the 3-hour question papers. The Commissioner General of Examinations stated that a special security plan has been implemented to prevent examination fraud, and stern action will be taken against students violating examination rules. With the prevailing adverse weather conditions, steps have been taken by the Department of Examinations to allow candidates of the GCE Ordinary Level Examination 2019 to sit for their exams at the closest examination centre if necessary. This year's Ordinary Level exam will conclude on the 12th of December. We will see you again after this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, this is just issuing a statement on the saga of this alleged kidnapping of a Swiss embassy employee, local employee that is. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs says that the government, having taken serious note of the incident, immediately ordered a thorough investigation into the matter. Now, Secretary to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ravinath Arisinghe, together with the Secretary of Defence, retired Major General Kamal Gunaratne, met with the ambassador for Switzerland in Sri Lanka this evening. Now, during the meeting, the Swiss ambassador has been briefed on the results of the investigation by the Criminal Investigation Department. The ambassador has been presented with clear evidence that the sequence of events and the timeline of the alleged incident, as formally presented by the Swiss mission to the CID on behalf of the alleged victim, did not in any way correspond with the actual movements of the alleged victim on that date. In light of the incontrovertible evidence presented by the law enforcement authorities to the Swiss mission, it was underlined that further investigations would need to be conducted to ascertain the actual facts surrounding this allegation, for which the alleged victim will have to be interviewed by the law enforcement authorities. Now, given the alleged victim had also claimed that she had sustained serious injuries during the alleged abduction, it was noted that she should be presented for a medical examination by a judicial medical officer in Sri Lanka. The embassy has been requested to cooperate fully with the government of Sri Lanka to establish the veracity of the claims relating to this alleged incident. And that's it from all of us here at First at 9. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.